by beating South Africa in the third T20I with a 48-run victory. Clinical from India, dominated South Africa from the get-go with the ball and with the bat and with the ball. Particularly in the power play, South Africa did very poorly with the ball, and India dominated and capitalized on that, and really did excellently to put the total on the board. It looked at some point that they were going to go to over 200, but South Africa, we must get some credit for the way they pulled it back. Dwayne Pretorius bowled beautifully. I think he did well within the team with the ball. There's been some. I mean, Cage is being consistent in this particular series, not necessarily the wicket-taking masterclass that we know him to be in the past, but generally speaking, with the ball, we were okay. I mean, Shamsi had a good start, a poor start, and then he came back. Keshav started well, and then not so well towards the end. Dwayne Parnell doing well at the front and at the death, and yeah, so not a very good performance from South Africa. I don't know what it is with regards to why we came out and bowled the way we did. But we will talk about everything that has to do with this third T20I, and that's what the show is about. So before we get going, before we get started, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Don't forget to click that notification bell for all future videos. And I'm sorry, guys, if I'm looking a bit down or whatever. I hate losing. I hate it when South Africa loses. Because it makes my job very hard to stand here and speak about plays without getting maybe without getting upset about it or cursing or getting going crazy about it, because we're fans, guys, and we in it. Yeah, I mean, we're here to all be passionate about the game and tell and say things how we feel in the moment. And at the moment, I'm feeling crappy, so I'm not really enjoying it. I know it's not the end of the world. I know we still 2-1 up in the series, but I still am not really happy with that. That was a really poor performance by South Africa as a unit after the first two games, showing the chase that we did. But yeah, let's get into it. Don't forget to download the latest issue of Cricket Fanatics magazine. Link is on the screen as well as in the description. Don't forget to click that Patreon button. The link is on the screen as well as in the description. You can really help us by supporting us on the Patreon account. Go to cricketfanaticsmag.com. Our teacher's report is live, so go ahead and go check what he had to say about the game. That report is on the channel. I mean, on our website. And yeah, smash the like button. Get involved with the like button. This is a fan call-in show. So it's an opportunity for you guys to call in and have your say on the show. But wait for us. I'll let you know. You'll see a little banner on the screen that will pop up, and that will say that will let you guys know when you can call in and click the link that's in the description as well as pinned to the live chat. So go ahead and do that. Also get involved with super chats. I see Corbus, you've brought me a super chat. Hold on to that comment. I will cover it a little bit later. But guys, let's get straight into today's video. I'm going to bring on the panel now to discuss this particular game. Let's do this. A very good evening. Welcome to Cricket Fanatics magazine. This is your review show. I'm your host, Khalid, and this is the show we talk about everything that has to do with the third T20 between South Africa and India. Very poor performance by South Africa, with dazzles and sprinkles in between of good performances. But I'm going to start off by saying, and it's just going to go against everything that I've been saying. Not maybe go against everything. People might be thinking that I'm switching my process over here when I'm talking about this particular moment. But what lost us the game today particularly was our chase, and it was because of the two slow starters at the beginning. Now I do believe that a person that can anchor and hold an innings is important in the team. I think 2 is maximum that you can have in a team. 3 is too much. If you have 2 players like Riza and Temba opening the batting, that's not good for the middle order. It puts too much pressure on the middle order if they can't get the ball out the square and through the power play, through the gaps, and getting runs on the board in the power play. That's what ultimately lost us this game. And I'm going to be honest about every game that I see, and I will talk about the game specifically. You can't have Riza and Temba in the same team opening the batting. There might be games where they prove us wrong. There might be games in the future that they might play together and they prove us wrong and they do well, but we need consistency. So you either pick Riza or you pick Temba with Quinn and the Cock. You need someone that can bat attackingly in the power play. You can't have two slow batters with slow strike rates in the power play. That's not going to work. Having two great adaptable batters on top that can adapt the game, yes, that will be ideal for South Africa. But then we're going to be taken away from the a strong middle order that we already are building over here. We are already building a beautiful middle order that we need to set up better in games to come. Having Rassi as a third as a number three is perfect for South Africa if we have a wicket that falls in the power play. But you can't have Riza and you can't have like Kobus has said in the super chat over here, and I agree with him. The slow start was from Riza and Temba killed the chase, and it did. And I have to say that, and I'm going to be honest about it on what I see. Now, I know people are going to say, "Yo, Timba's not a T20 player," and I know that's going to be a conversation that's going to obviously dominate this. But when I look at South Africa, and we know now at the moment that they're not going to drop the captain. So if they're going to pick Temba Bavuma as an opener, then for me personally, they can't pick another slow batter to open the batting with him. Gwendolyn Cock needs to be there, Riza, and Riza can't be selected. Now we saw that happen in the World Cup too. It happened when Quinn Cock wasn't available, and they almost got themselves into a tricky situation. But that time around, Pavuma batted well and won us that game. So there are going to be occasions where this is going to happen. And the ideal situation for me is if Temba and Quinny can really get a great start up front and set it up for someone like the middle order with regards to this. The one thing that we can take out of this, though, personally, I have to say, is that Klaassen has proven himself now over these last two games that he needs a spot in this team. It's very unfair on Tristan Stubbs, but for me, if Aiden's not ready, for me, if Quinny's not ready, I will drop either one of the two of those anchors that they're talking about. But I don't think it's logical to drop the captain, seeing that he's still got wins. It doesn't make sense to drop him if they are seeing him as the captain of the team. So I think Riza needs to go out, and I think we need to just gamble it and play someone else as an opener. Maybe give Rassie van der Dussen a chance if the other two are not available. If the other two are available, then it changes the game completely. Then it's just a drop, like for like swap almost, and then we need to decide what we're going to do with Keshav. If we're going to play Keshav or we're going to drop another batter. What we're going to do with regards to one of the all-rounders, which I don't think they should do. I think one of the spinners rather I would go with in that case. So let's get your thoughts, guys. Let's get the understanding over here from what you guys think. It was a poor batting display, and India showed South Africa how to bat on this particular wicket. And it had nothing to do with the wicket, in my opinion. In this particular case, this wasn't about the wicket that made them start slow, in my opinion. I think that they couldn't find scoring options, and India bowled really well, tight lines as well. And they couldn't get the ball away. And that was the problem. They started to run between the wickets, and I said, okay, look here, this is picking up some momentum. They're starting to get some runs on the board over here. And then Riza hit a couple of balls, and it looked good. But they had to play an unnatural game over here because of the match situation. So they had to play out an unnatural game, which I saw, and it didn't pull off, and it put a lot of pressure on the rest. But okay, taking that aside, the rest of the batters, with regards to the circumstances, never played well either. Rassie didn't do well. When the Klaassen showed signs of it, David Miller didn't. What can you expect though? But David Miller didn't do so well. We can't expect him to pull us out of trouble every single game. It's not conducive to ourselves. Dwayne Pretorius, you can't expect him to come to the party every single time for it to come off. I've said that before. I said he has done it in the past, but I don't think he can consistently come in at 3 and put on those type of performances. So yes, it's a good way to bail us out in certain cases, but this can't continuously be happening. We need to start building partnerships up front. And people need to lose. If that's the case, if people need to get dropped and new people need to be tried out, then so be it. We need to find the right combination up top. If it's Temba and Quinny, then so be it. If it's not, then they need to find a solution very quickly because we're losing time. Like Werner said on previous shows, we are losing time here to find the perfect combinations. Now, I still do believe that Temba has the ability in him to be the perfect foil for Quentin de Kock at the top of the order. I still do believe that currently with what we have within the squad, within what we have available, with the experience that he has, but he needs to come to the party really quickly because he's starting to lose a lot of people. He's starting to lose faith in a lot of fans around the country. They're really, really starting to lose faith in Temba Bavuma as a batter. So let's go into this particular game. Aditya, first let's start with you. Um, well done, first and foremost, for the victory. I'm a big Ishan Kishan fan, so it was also nice to see him perform again. Because I do like enjoy watching him bat. But one of the guys that you've been speaking quite highly of, Gaikwad, came to the party today. So let's speak about that. Let's speak about what India did right, and let's speak and maybe give me some insight into what you think went wrong.
Well, it's good to have a win, and I'm glad the series is still alive. So well done to India. I thought Ruturaj Gaikwad was fantastic. Ishan Kishan was great as well. Um, Hardik Pandya did very well with his 31 of 21. Um, and obviously the bowlers have to be given the credit for this win because Harsha Patel and Chahal, which is unbelievable. For them to have 7 wickets between them to basically break the chase for South Africa was commendable, and they deserve every bit of it. And you look at the you look at the way that they strangled South Africa in that power play, where they were going at pretty much 5 runs and over. And this is something that we've been talking about a lot, right? That you it's okay to be 50 for two after 5 overs, but you don't want to be 30 for two after 5 overs. And I think there was an example of that sort of day where, Temba goes out 8 of 10 balls. Riza is also he's batting at 115. So that's not good enough, particularly when you're batting on a tricky wicket and you're chasing a 180 sort of score. So I think South Africa's planning South Africa's planning sort of went a bit haywire in this game, and I don't think they planned their chase very well. But I guess you got to give kudos to India's bowling. And as for India's batting, well, I thought they did okay to get to 170, but I was disappointed they didn't get to 250.
You were saying 250 before the game, and it really makes me laugh. Wait, okay, Seppo, before you go, I just want to get another India perspective. Ashwani, your thoughts on India first and foremost, before we go into the South African debate, because I need to ask as well, although this is a South African channel. So your thoughts on India, what they did well, and maybe where South Africa went wrong.
I think first of all, congratulations to India. Finally, they beat South Africa after 7 matches. Uh, yeah, it's amazing performance by them. Yeah, coming to India's batting performance, I think India started well. The partnership between Gaikwad and Ishan Kishan, I think they really blazing through, and it's looked like they going past 200. But unfortunately, after you say that India's that same pattern, India's top order doing the fiery works and middle order just puts a break on it. And especially I am coming to Rishabh Pant. I think Rishabh Pant seriously need to look out his batting in T20 cricket. I think the type of player he is, I think it's disappointed what he so far performing in T20 cricket. He first of all he has to look out his fitness perspective. I told you about in previous chat that his lower torso is a bit heavy. He need to work on his fitness. Because of this, he is susceptible in his shot making. You see, whenever he playing the shots, one hand is come out of his handle. Normally, you see, so he has to sort that perspective as well. And India need to find out that lower middle order option, which can provide them long hits. which I think I lacks in the Indian team. And yeah, we say that Pant should not be in the team that because he is not performing well. But I think Pant's requirement is very much in the Indian team because Indian team don't have left-hand batsman in the middle order side. Uh, you have to find that better middle order left-handed batsman than Pant. After that, you can think about of dropping. So yeah, Pant really have to think about his game in white ball cricket, especially in T20. And coming to bowling, I think what I said about UZ Jal in the previous chat show, he bowled oppositely today. His bowling speeds are much higher. You see, he's bowling above 90 mph and bowling that flighted ball when it's required. So what we saw today, it's really opposite. And uh, obviously he's a former chess player, so he's very sharp. He can pick out the things very quickly. But obviously team management discussed with him what should he not do in the previous match, because pitch is also assisting him in the previous match. So he done opposite team and he bowled brilliantly today. And also that guy left-hander. He bowls also bowled brilliantly today. So I think overall India's bowling is tremendously well, and you have to give credit to team management and Mr. Rahul Dravid, because everyone expected India to some changes in the side. Like everyone expect Umran Malik or Arshdeep Singh or maybe Ravi Vishnoy playing, but I think they stick with the side. And who knows, if India lose today, they everyone will be bashing today, including us. But credit to them, uh, kudos to them, and yes, they perform well. And I think now India is in the mix. They can pull off this series.
Yeah. You know, right? And let's move on to South Africa again. Tsepo, this time I want to get your thoughts. We're looking at the situation with between the two openers today. And I would have backed rather Riza Hendricks to take that attacking role out of the two batters between Temba and Riza. We've already said we can only have one of them playing that anchor type of role. Timba's come out to say that he wants to play that type of supportive role for the more attacking batter at the other end. When he spoke about his role in the partnership between him and Klaassen, so we can't. Okay, so I don't like to blame specific players for wrongdoings, but there could be an understanding that Riza tried to play out of the player's style of cricket that was a little bit more attacking, and it maybe just didn't suit him as you'd hoped. And then Pavuma still he also got bogged down because of the same situation. So they weren't really complementing each other quite well over there. It was a poor start from the both. But Sepo, what do we do with the situation? Where do you think South Africa lost this game, in your opinion? Are you there? Seems to be a little bit delay from Seps. Okay, I'm just gonna. Can you just reconnect again, Chepo, before you come? Let me just start off the show then by getting some callers on the show when Chepo comes back. We've got a few callers waiting. Um, yeah, let's do this. Okay, we've got first and foremost, we've got Albi. How's it, bro? What would you like to say? Welcome to the show.
Hello, everyone.
How's it?
And yeah, quite disappointing performance from South Africa, actually. Hats off to India, they performed well. They did deserve the victory the way they played. All round, South Africa were not that good. The batting was actually quite disappointing. So was the bowling. So there's still a lot of improvements before going into the T20 World Cup.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely do. Where do you think those improvements are in your opinion?
Uh, it feels like every game they have a different problem. Like once they solve it, another one starts. So at this point here, especially the way they've been playing for the last 2 years, it is becoming very difficult to analyze the way they need to play and the problems that need to be solved, because there's always a different problem every game.
Mm-hmm.
So at
Yeah,
this
I
point,
agree with.
Sorry,
Mhm.
at this point, it does also become confusing also for the fans of the Proteas to know what's going on.
Yeah, I mean that is true, and we've always asked for transparency. That's something that the fans have always asked for. But Albie, thanks a lot for coming on the show. We enjoyed your conversation. Please come and call in again on the show in the future. We'll chat to you again soon.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, cool. Tsepo, before we get our next caller on, just I want to hear your thoughts before we get going, before we get the next caller on.
Can you hear me? Am I a bit
Yeah.
clearer now? Awesome. Yeah, I didn't watch much of the game, or I just watched the beginning when Ishan Kishan and Gaikwad were going berserk. Um, yeah, but uh, just in terms of the bowling, there was a lot that was left to be desired. A big question mark on Heinrich Norkier. The thing about him is that his pace is just so ferocious that, like, even his good balls are being sent to the boundary. There was an almost drop catch from Tabrei Shams. It just got to him too quickly. And just using him in the power play, you don't know whether you could do that. Outside the power play can also be pretty expensive. So, yeah, it's just about Heinrich Norkier in particular. In terms of the batting, I mean, I couldn't agree more with the chats about Riza and Temba. Just looking at their strike rates, Riza strikes at 121.59, and Temba Bavuma strikes it higher at 121.75. So, yeah, a very unnatural. And also, what also needs to be said, Riza Hendricks has played 41 T20 internationals, whereas Temba Bavuma has only played 24. So you can already see there that we're needing someone to accelerate the run rates at the top, and it's not Riza. It's just not him. He's been selected as an opener. It's very obvious with the South African selections that players are in specific roles in the order. So your Heinrich Klaassen, your David Miller, Rassie van der Dussen, you won't see them opening. Actually, like Heinrich Klaassen, David Miller, maybe Aiden Markram, 4, 5, 6, lowest. Temba Bavuma, Rassie van der Dussen, Aiden Markham can maybe move to 3, but Dwayne Pretorius, he's sitting at that 3 role. And you can see that's what's happening with the selection. There was one comment that said something about David Miller at 6 is blasphemy. And I can sort of agree. I responded to that comment saying, look, I like Dwayne Pretorius coming in when the score is looking a bit higher from time to time, but like every single time, then it's not spicy anymore. Then he's actually our number 3, and I'm like, is he really number 3? I'd really like him at the back end of the innings. Bring in Rassie early, bring in David Miller early, give them as much time as they need to sort of get in, because if you don't give them the time, they're not going to strike. And then another comment about Rassie van der Dussen. Or I think Lorenzo Bailey was talking about another point that was mentioned by someone else about if you can't drop, it was Arvid. If you can't drop Temba, drop Rassie, because they're doing the same thing. And look, the thing about Rassie van der Dussen is if you get him out early, yeah, there you go, well done. Because he does need the time to sort of set up. But if you don't, if there's not a lot of pressure at the top, if Quinton de Kock is opening, maybe something interesting could happen there. So in this game specifically, South Africa did a little bit more power at the end of things, especially for a score of 180 plus. But yeah, that's the main issue. Also the bowling. There are lots of question marks on Heinrich Norkier for me personally. He's not as venomous in this situation. If we're playing game by game and we're looking at situation by situation, maybe some variation, maybe pace off the ball, maybe Lungi Ngidi could get a chance here. A chance. I'm not saying that Heinrich or Lungi is a better bowler than Heinrich. I believe that Heinrich is a better bowler than Lungi. But in this situation, maybe something else could have, maybe we needed a bowler with a little bit more control, some more variation, pace off the ball. So yeah, just decision making here. It was very good in the previous 2 games, but here it feels like there was a lot that was left to be desired. So yeah.
I have to say thank you to Corbus again for another super chat. He's just going for it, eh? Like I saw Jean say, Corbus is clearly not feeling the pinch of the petrol price hike. So this Temba thing will keep on coming up every time we chase 180 plus. You can't expect the guy at the other end to go at the 200 strike rate every game when Temba chills on 120 strike rate. Great captain, but not a T20I batter. That's what Corbus has to say. Yeah.
Can I say something about the South African batting order? I think that's been a huge part of the conversation, right? And certainly, one thing that I feel is that you work with the resources that you have, and you have to learn to plan better. Okay, there's no such thing as the perfect team, right? And I know we keep talking about strike rates and just the fact that there are a couple of anchors in the team and all of that, but I think the thing with South Africa is that they have to learn to use them better. I mean, I don't understand if fine you have Quinton de Kock is injured, you can't do much about that. So Riza and Temba have to open. Fine. There are different ways to deal with that sort of situation. Like you rotate strike better. You don't go for six, you go for four. You find a way to take a risk early. Look, if Temba gets out 2 of 2, no problem. But when you start making 8 of 10 in the power play, then that is a problem because you have to convert those 8 runs. And similarly, look, this stuff like Dwayne Pretorius coming in at 3 is I understand it. But he's not a number 3. Look, you have to. What that tells me with Dwayne Pretorius coming in regularly at number 3 is that South Africa don't trust Rassie Vatatuson to come in early, and I think that's outrageous because he's been South Africa's most consistent white ball player, T20s and ODIs. So I think they do need to show a bit more trust to Rassie van der Dussen, and I think that he's actually the sort of player who would benefit from the power play because it would give him the opportunity to take that extra risk. But yeah, I mean, they sending Dwayne Pretorius at 3 every single time is not working. I agree with Shep Oda.
I'm slightly pissed off with Timba Bavuma, to be honest, because every time I put my neck on the line for him, thinking that he's going to put on the performance that I see from him in domestic cricket and the flashes that he shows in games gives me some hope sometimes to think that he's going to play that style of cricket. I mean, in the previous game, he played some excellent shots to get boundaries for his 35. And then when I do that, we support because I want everybody to perform well. And I know personally that they're not going to drop him because he's the captain. So I want to put as much positive energy out there for Timba because I know it's extremely difficult for him as a person to ignore all the negativity that has been said about him. Because I know these guys in the comments that say yes, he's good at tests and ODIs, but there are people that don't believe he's a good batter. Period, and that gets shown on social media all the time, getting tagged into negative tweets and on Instagram and on Facebook and all over the place. I see it. So it is a little bit irritating every single time we say or we know what type of player he is, and then he just doesn't come to the party and do what we expect him to do. So it is frustrating. Let's go on to the next person who wants to talk. Ashwani, do you want to go? Oh, before you go, I have to do the super chat quickly. Thank you, Prasad, for the super chat. Why a guy like Neil Brandt, who has scored hundreds and taken wickets in ODI championship, not considering Riza gets the nod just because of 150 he scored in the finals of ODI. Temba Bavum, and Tiernus the Brain has done well in white ball cricket as well. All different positions to the opening issue that we have currently. Go look at the openers, guys. If you guys can find me a whole lot of openers that have batted well with a good strike rate at domestic cricket, because I think you need to bat a lot better. Your strike rate needs to be a lot higher. Your average needs to be a lot higher to get into the international. Because domestic and international, there's a gap, of course. So when you look at it from that perspective, I'm trying to think if there's any other openers that I've seen in the domestic setup, like the T20 knockouts, etc. Besides now Riley Rousseau, because it doesn't seem like South Africa's interested in Riley. And I said maybe they should at least have a chat with him and given him opportunity already. I know he came out and he spoke about it. If you're gonna give Colpax an opportunity, give all Colpax an opportunity, I guess. But they're not going to look at him as an opener for South Africa right now. It's clear they didn't want to call back Faf du Plessis because there was issues. So who's the next ones in as openers in T20 cricket that can have really put up their hand as openers? Janneman Malan, I do see an argument for him. He is an excellent batter, but he does struggle against the moving ball. I think that Bhuvi would have really put a lot of pressure on him, as well as the spinners, in the opening, in the power play. Similarly to Kwani, I think, and like I've said before, I feel that Yanaman has found a way to survive against spin and not found a way to attack spin and really dominate spin. And if he can do that, he needs to walk into the team because he's a destructive batter, and I'm a big fan of his. And we see it in ODI cricket, but you can't compare ODIs to T20. T20s has developed so much these days. It's crazy. Also, guys, we need to take into consideration that there's a quota in place. Now, we have to select with this quota in place, of course, as well. So if you're going to think of replacing Temba Bavuma, also maybe think of another player of color that is opening the batting, that is performing at domestic level. Because if you're taking two players of color out of the squad, it's going to cause a little bit of problems, because I only see white players being mentioned as replacements in the comment section. So it's going to give a little bit of an issue over there. But Ashwani, go ahead. Sorry, I know I'm taking some talk time.
To South Africa's batting today. First of all, coming to their bowling, I think South Africa done really well. After that, Ishan Kishan and uh, other guys' partnership. So I think they done really well to stop India to 179. So I think South Africa's bowling is good, but I think coming to Enric Nokia, what Thela talking about, I think Enric Nokia is looking like he's not 100% fit, and he himself mentioned about it. So I think South Africa can replace him with Marco Jensen in the next match. Marco Jensen obviously gives you a lot better option of 6 foot 8 inch height plus batting advantage as well. Plus he also swings the ball. South Africa can replace him in the next match if Enric Nokia is not properly fit, because South Africa need him in Test cricket also, and I think he's more effective in red ball in conditions like in Australia, and I think in coming UK tour. So I think Enric Nokia should rest it if he's not 100% fit. And coming to South Africa's batting, I think South Africa need to be little bit more proactive with their batting approach. Coming to Temba Bavuma, if you considered him as a batsman, I am a huge fan of his captaincy, no doubt about it, and I want he continued for 2 3 years. But I think Tamba Buma need to be little bit proactive with his batting approach. Yes, he played with to 80 strike rate, and also pitch is little bit you can say that tricky. It's not totally you can say that batting wicket. If you bowled a little bit onto the wicket and little bit cutters or slower balls, so wicket is little bit sticking on it. And Rija Hendricks is playing beautifully today, but unfortunately he's out. So I think South African openers have to be little bit proactive in the power plays. Otherwise, if we see mostly middle order get out of them if openers not performing. Opposite with India, their openers are performing well, but I think their middle order not done enough well to put them to that score which the team wanted. So South Africa has to think about it that their openers need to be little bit more aggressive, and they have to find the options of scoring which areas they score. And talk about that guy Dwayne Pretorius, I think, and Resi Vanderdusen, and Aditya is right about it. I think Resi Vanderdusen, I called him right-handed Michael Hussey, and he is the match winner for South Africa. And there's no question about his place in South Africa's white ball lineup, especially because this guy is a match winner. If he's uh, stick around for few balls, he can win you matches. So I think Rassi should be at number three. And obviously, that experiment is good that you play Dwayne Pretorius at one down, but it's cannot be continuing like this. You have to put your best batsman to up position so you can benefit from him. And in the next match, I would like to try Eden Markram as well, because Adam Markram is the most improved T20 player in past 4 to 5 months. What I ever saw in his batting, and his batting against spin is very well. So if you include Adam Markram in the lineup, so you have guys like David Miller, Henrik Larsson, and also include Rassi Venderson, who is not bad player of Spain, is also good, and include Adam Markham. So you have four batters in the middle order lineup who can play spin really better. And India today win match because of the wrist spin of Yuzvendra Chahal. If Yuzvendra Chahal don't bowl that spell, South Africa will win this series.
Okay. Yeah. You see, like when I come into criticism again as well, for me, like I've never said that we mustn't criticize players. I've always said do it, but do it fairly. I get defensive of Temba when people come after him for no bloody reason and they say things that is not true. He can't suddenly not know how to play cricket. There is something else that is boggling him. I think. I think also the fact that he didn't have Quinton at the other end. We can't necessarily say that he's going to maybe do something different if when he is batting again, opening with him, and he can be the supportive figure. Okay, Chepo, we can. Do you wanna add anything to what has been said already before we go to Aditya again?
Now we can hop onto Aditya. I'm chatting to people in the comments. Some interesting chats and interesting people being brought up here. People want JP Dumini to come back out of retirement for this game. I asked JP Dumini your good fam, and I think it was Afzal said that he just loves the way he played the game, and maybe you could have offered the extra. I guess that's the role that Aiden Markham also sort of brings into the side. And one thing that we also need to remember is that like the bunch of roles that need to be fulfilled in this team. That's why, for example, when Quinton de Kock was out, you had to be in Reza Hendricks as an opener and Heinrich Klaassen as a wicketkeeper. So when Aiden Mark goes out, you're losing a batter, a very good batter, very well improved batter, as Wani has been saying. I'm really enjoying seeing how he's progressing. And you're also losing a bowling option. Might not be the best bowling option, but is an option nonetheless. So yeah, I guess he could fill that JP Dumini role, just one quick spell there, see if he could get or steal an over for Temba. And that's what he doesn't have like at his disposal at the moment. And as Aditya said, you have to work with what you've got. And we just didn't work well with the stuff that we had. And also to the fans, guys, sometimes you lose games. It's okay. There's still another game that's coming. Let's not start to sack people. They've done well so far. Let's just chill. Let's just chill.
Yeah. What about I saw something flying around the comment section, also on social media as well, because he's done it in the past. The testing Wade Pardal as an opener, teacher, because I mean he's done it. He has done it before. It's not like he hasn't done it before. So interesting thought. Going out there. I mean, even I think I saw Lubabalo throw out a team actually on Twitter as well, with Parnell as seen as we experimenting throwing Parnell in there as if Quinn is not available. What's your thoughts on that? Only if Quinn is not available.
Well, perhaps we can reverse the batting order completely. Open with KG and Andrik. Well, I mean, again,
It's not that
okay
ludicrous.
Look, here's the thing. We can talk about personnel all we like. We need to discuss approach, and I think the reflection for Temba and Reza today is what could they have done differently in the power play. I think that's the question, because I feel like they allowed the bowlers to dominate in the first 5 overs. Did either of them try to come down the track to hit over the bowler's head, perhaps? Because if like one of Timba's strengths is that he bats straight, he doesn't play too many cross-batted shots, certainly early on, and he can play over the head of the bowler. So I think that's where South Africa need to reflect a little bit, right? Because we can talk about Wayne Parnell as an opening option, but it's not really a long-term solution, because Quinton de Kock is going to come back and take that position anyway. So if Reza is going to be his replacement, you have to find a way to get the best out of Reza, and you need to find a way to get the best out of Temba, because what I'm feeling right now is that neither of them are really sure of their T20 games and how they need to be planning an innings. I go back to Faf du Plessis' example. You can see that his graph has gone up. He's over time he's become a more attacking player. If you think like 5, 6, 7 years ago, if could you expect Faf du Plessis to make 70 of 20 balls? No, but today he can because he's done it on multiple occasions. So clearly there is an evolution in that game. He's understood his game better, and I feel like the South African management is not facilitating that for Riza and Timber.
But how does Temba suddenly not be able to like attack the ball? I know domestic cricket's different to international cricket. How do you score 100 in T20 cricket, but then not be able to do it? Or score 40 in international? Should be able to be that
I
relatable.
think, Khalid, I think Tamba should take the example of Owen Morgan. When Owen Morgan first started his career for Ireland, I think he cannot hit sixes at ease. He himself said that I had to learn sixes. His game depend upon reverse sweeping sweeps, which we saw in 2010 World Cup when he's playing for England. But literally, he gradually improved his game. Now he has the record of highest number of sixes in ODI cricket. So I think Tamba can improve, can take that example as well. So I think Tamba has to evolve his game in the white ball format, and I think evolution is the way to go for Tamba Bhuma in ODI cricket.
Mhm. And what about
I
a
mean,
T20 cricket?
honestly, I
Yeah,
feel
How,
like
how, how does he
obviously
get it right? I
white
want to
ball.
know how he.
Obviously in white ball
Yeah.
cricket, white ball cricket.
Yeah, because I mean, ODI, you have a little bit more time. You have a
Yes,
lot more
yes.
time to settle yourself in than in T20s. You need to be able to be already getting that runs on the board by the fourth over. You need to, before the 2 overs before the power play ends, you need to at least have 40, 50 runs on the board before you get there. Like, so with the situation now, Timber's going to continuously be selected. We know that. He's the captain of the team. So how does he go about it? If we had to give advice to the man, how does he go about his innings now, going into this World Cup?
Yeah, one more example I want to give you about the great Sachin Tendulkar. Uh, Tamba and Sachin are both are slightly built, minute built, but I think if you look at Sachin's graph over the years, Sachin has that elbow injury. When he don't have that tennis elbow injury, he played that pull shot very easily. But when that tennis elbow injury occurred, he then developed that an uppercut shot, which you saw the great batsman's evolution in the game. So I think Tampa needs to develop that into his game because I think he has shots, but I think for T20 he has something missing in his shot making armory. So he has to build that shot making armory. So you can see that maybe you see different type of movement.
I think Demba Bavuma would benefit immensely from playing in a T20 league overseas. I think he needs to be out of his comfort zone a little bit and be around players that he's not familiar with, perhaps be away from the South African environment a little bit and learn more from players outside of that environment. It's, again, Faf du Plessis is a clear example of that. You look at the player that he became while he was at the Chennai Super Kings. You can see that evolution, and I mean,
That's
so I
unlikely
don't.
though.
But look, we're not
Like
talking
these
just
not
about.
so for me, I'm talking about leading up into this World Cup. What can he do right now? Because we can't. We, c- he needs to put on some. We need to find a way or a strategy. I mean, Boucher, we expected from the coaches and the batting setup, etc., to come up with a plan or game plan for Temba Bavuma that suits his game that will aid Quinny. So is it what is it running between the wickets? Maybe giving the strike more to Quinny? Is it playing a 360 type of game, playing more sweeps, playing more scoop shots? Or what does he do to now improve his game going into this World Cup? I mean, we could see a completely different Temba in the next two games. This could be rustiness as well. He spoke about not playing for a long time. I don't know. But I mean, I have seen him clear the boundary. Have seen him hit sixes. I have seen him scoop shots. Have seen him perform like that in front of my eyes. I watched him do it, and I was like, "But what type of? Where did this come from, Timber?" Like I actually literally said that while I was watching him play in that final, and in other games since then. So I don't know. It's weird because even at the Josie Stars, they selected him and he opened with him. that he was the main guy for them. He was their captain as well. I mean, yes, the Joshi Stars had the worst tournament of their life in that particular tournament, but Temba wasn't too bad in that particular tournament as a batter in that case. So I know people are gonna say, yes, call back Faf, yes, call back. We're talking about fantasies here because Faf, we already know that relationship has been severed. Faf wanted a T20 contract only. CSA said, no, we're not going to give you a T20 contract only. And that's the case because that's not how they look at things, even though they give test only contracts. But I think it's also because I think test cricket is a little bit different with regards to that. You are obviously more invested longer with the team than in T20 cricket. You come in a small camp, couple of T20s. Remember, you play a couple of T20s. You don't necessarily play massive series like this where it's 5 matches, hardly ever. South Africa hardly ever plays 5 T20s ever. So this is a unique situation. So to give someone a T20 contract for this, a couple of 2-3 games or a couple of series, and he's probably going to ask for compensation that is going to make up for the fact that he's missing T20 leagues to play. So Faf is out of the question. Radi Rasow is out of the question because they haven't spoken to him. If they didn't speak to him after the T20 knockout competition, when he made his return to South African cricket, bashing everybody all over the place, they're not going to speak to him now when he hasn't played well in the one-day stuff for the Warriors. I mean, for the Bloemfontein, for the Knights, and he's doing okay in England currently in the T20 setup, in the games that he's playing. So, Aditya, you wanted to say something before I started speaking on that?
Look, I think I don't know what immediate solution is there for this, right? Because this takes time, and cricket is a funny game in the sense that every series will throw up different conditions. So what Temba is going to get in Australia will be very different from what he's getting here in India at the moment. So we do have to take that into consideration and just hope that the true bounce on Australian pitches, good batting conditions, and so on, based on the wicket will sort of help Temba's game because he does enjoy it. Having said that, to me, a long-term solution is for Temba to play more in overseas leagues. That
makes sense
I
as
don't
a
see another
long-term
way.
solution. Yeah.
Like as a long-term solution, I don't see another way because you look at the rate at which other players are growing. If David Bravis now goes to play South African domestic cricket, he'll turn up a better player because of what he's done in the IPL and the people that he's interacted with. I mean, Richard has never said exactly the same thing. So I feel like Temba Bavuma needs that infusion of information.
But do you think someone's going to pick him up? Who will pick him up? Like, I don't think that's realistic based on how he's performed. You see the others, for example, Deerwald showed his ability in the World Cup, played against India, smashed all the young Indian guys that play in the IPL around the ground like that was nothing. So, and normally when you play against India, Hendrik Klaasen, for example, the way he's playing against India again, that might get him a proper contract this time around. So Temba hasn't come to the party in these games yet that he's played. He's showed signs of it in the World Cup when he won us a couple of games here and there. He hasn't. There's not a big sample size also to judge him completely.
Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
Sri Lanka. Yeah.
Khalid, I think there are a couple of examples I will put it on. I think one more example I want to give about it's Mohammad Rizwan of Pakistan. I think before that 2021
He
tour
changed this game.
again,
Wow.
2021 again in New Zealand, he's considered as liability for Pakistan. But that guy changed all the methods. Now he's the leading run scorer in the past 1 year for Pakistan and in all over the world. So I think Bavuma can take the inspiration from Mohammad Rizwan too. Mohammad Rizwan is not you can say that very extraordinary batsman. He mostly scores all his shots on the leg sides. He can shape the offside ball into leg side, so he can develop his own game. So I think Temba can look at it. There are many examples which Temba can look at and improvise his game according to this. So that's one example coming to my mind.
I also want to jump in here in terms of answering the question of what Temba Bavuma can do now. I think it's Tivani in the comments said he needs to do some introspection. He needs time in the middle. He just needs confidence. He just needs confidence to be able to clear the boundary because as you also mentioned, there'll be different conditions in different areas, and he did come up against a very good bowling attack that can't be taken away. There were the power play bowling from India was very, very good. He does need to find the gaps a little bit better, but these are the types of things that sort of come with more time in the middle. So everybody's saying that he needs to go do tests, he needs to go leave the side. Guys, you can't leave the side now because now you're taking out the captain like a few months before a tournament. That means all your planning is just like, so let's try to think a little bit like smarter than this, than just one player. You know what I'm saying? We're smarter than this, guys. So what he needs to do is he needs to find time in the middle. He doesn't have an IPL, he doesn't have that luxury. So I don't know how he's gonna do it, but this man just needs to bat like every day until the World Cup. Just bat and just bats himself better. Bats himself into form. Bats himself into that form that we saw in the T20 World Cup. Man he saved us in that Sri Lanka game. He might not have scored the biggest score. He might not have finished, but there was, I think it was like about 30. That if we didn't get that 30, guys, we were child. We were done. So yeah, like he just needs time in the middle, and he's not going anywhere. Like, sorry,
Yeah.
all the Temba Bavuma haters,
Yeah.
but you're gonna keep hating. You're gonna keep
Yeah,
hating because
so
the boy's gonna stay there and he's gonna keep doing his thing.
yeah, so I'm trying to have a constructive conversation about this because it's pointless us talking about things that are not going to happen. So I'm really, really trying to have a like as best as I can to try to have some clarity. Ashwani made great points about certain things that Timba can do, and I think you should take some of that advice. Aditya gave some good points as well. I think we've all said it. But Vuma just needs to come to the party right now because if he doesn't do well, we're going to be in trouble. If he doesn't do well, I mean, we can't like we can't be too harsh on Rassi either. Rassi saved us so many times, and I can't understand
Yeah,
the
man.
criticism over there either.
He literally just scored
Rassi is
76,
a
man.
he's a good number three right now for South Africa, and it's a good fullback. If you have one, the problem today was the two players that are batting at slow rates at the top of the order. It's you can't have three at your top of your order, all striking at 100. It's not gonna work. You're gonna put a lot of pressure on the likes of Klaassen and David Miller, etc. And I've seen people maybe saying throw in Brevis. Brevis is not an opener. I don't think we can throw him as an opener for South Africa straight away. Within he hasn't even played a game for South Africa yet. So I mean that's the best option for me would be Aiden Markram, the only one that has experience there as an opener that has played there. But he's such a fantastic lower order batter, middle order batter, number 4. He's like perfect for me for Aiden. Like, I mean, Aticha, won't it be like I don't know, yeah. Won't it be crazy for us to do something like that? To take Aiden out of a place where he's doing brilliantly and then putting him in the firing line as an opener.
Look, I think Aiden has done well as an opener too. But the thing with him is that now that you've got the best out of him, you have to give him some amount of consistency.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure that his preparation is different. But look, again, I don't know what the solution is. More than anything, South Africa have to find a way to get the best out of their players. So whether it's, I don't know if Temba Bavuma needs to train a different way, or he needs to approach his game a different way, or whether Reza Hendricks needs to complement him better. I don't know what it is, but you look at Ruturaj Gaikwad, for example. To me, technically, he's got a similar battle to Temba. Both proper technical players. They use classical traditional shots to get their runs. Ruturaj Gaikwad is not smacking, reverse scoops or those lap shots or any of that. He's not doing any of that. But he's finding a way to score runs. Like you look at that over against Andrej Nokia where he scored 5 boundaries. Apart from that one shot in anger that you could say he hit off mid wicket, it was all sort of classical batting, and I think that's what Temba needs to do a bit better. I don't know, but look, it's not like a player who's classical that you cannot succeed in T20 cricket. You can. I mean, Rahul Dravid has had a pretty good T20 career.
Yeah. Yeah, Khalid, two more examples coming into mind. One is Virat Kohli when he is in his prime. Look at that 2016 World Cup. He's just playing classical shots, no dab shots, no reverse, no sweeps. He's just playing classical shots and to the gaps. And that innings against Australia, which he played, you saw no reverse sweeps against that world class inning where he scored single, where he won single handedly against Australia in Mohali. You saw he just played all his shots are classical. So I think Tamba can take the examples of many players if he want to. So I think there are many examples. If you can take the South African example, there is no better than example than the great Hashim Amla. Hashim Amla has a season with the IPL and he scored, I think, 200s there. So he played classical shots. He's
Mm.
not your like Butler or even Morgan, the players which you saw today. So I think there is a room for classical players in T20 cricket. And whenever you learn the cricket, you first starting to play classical shots. After that, you try that reverse sweeps. Don't know that today's method of coaching, but in our time we used to play that classical shots. After that, over the years, we used to improvise according to the situation.
Mm. And that's why I think that it was an incorrect decision to choose to chase today. Because I don't think that we had the arsenal today to set up an innings to chase. I thought that the right decision would have been to probably bat first and try to get 170 plus and defend it. I think that should have been the idea today on today's game, seeing that you have got these three opening players over there. So yeah, I don't know. Let's get your final thoughts over here, Tsepo, and then we're gonna go Ashwani, and then we go Indo for Tadicha.
So my final thoughts are basically just going to be to the people that wanna like drop players and be like, oh guys, we need to drop this guy and this guy needs to come in and Yana Malan needs to come into the side. Guys, quite frankly, after 2023, you might have your wish. After 2023, you're probably not going to see Temba Bavuma as captain. That's when Mark Boucher's contract ends. And then there's going to be so much time for Dewald Brevis, for Tristan Stubbs, for Yanaman Malan. Aiden Marker is probably going to come into his own by that time. Then you'll have 2 years under his belt. You have another World Cup. And then we'll probably have the sides that people want to see. So, guys, time for the young players. There's time. And there's no need to say that, you know what, they're better than these players. Look, these guys now that are in our side, they're basically at their prime. We're not going to get anything better out of them than like this period right now. So we're going to send these guys to 2023. And these guys are the guys that we've been building with for a long time. So we're not just going to scrap plans. Unfortunately, I believe it's unfortunate that Riley Rousseau wasn't part of these plans, but he made his decision. It's rough. It's rough, but he made his decision. I'm not sure what's cooking over there, but his time has passed. He's just going to be in the South African domestic setup. It's going to be a T20 mercenary. So unlocks guys. But yeah, I think personally, I think the side has the ingredients to actually win a trophy. And I'm going to say it until we win a trophy. We have everything. We have everything that we need. Things just need to click. We saw pictures of it clicking in the past 2 games, and now it just didn't click. It could click very, very soon. So I'm, as a South African cricket fan, I'm fine. I'm happy. I'm not angry today. I think this is still a good team. Oh, I forgot to mention 2 spinners. I think we need to talk about that, but that's for a different situation. Anyway, happy SA cricket fan.
Yeah, look here. Also, I think why Yanaman also didn't get selected. If I look at the CSA T20 Challenge and the way he performed this season, in 9 matches he scored 202 runs with a high score of 45, an average of 22, and a strike rate of 124.69. That's in domestic cricket for South Africa. It was spinning conditions, mind you. There was a lot of games where the spinners dominated in the T20 arena this season because it was played in Durban. I think it was. I can't remember. I think it was in Durban. So he struggled against spin domestically against our spinners here. And I've seen it against other spinners. I watched him play against Pakistan. The way the type of shots he was playing to get the spin ball away in ODI cricket, uh, it makes me a bit nervous. I think so. Yeah, when was it Kabeja? Okay, it was in PE. No, wasn't was it Kabeja? Okay, maybe it was in Kabeja. So similarly, yeah, over there it was. Oh yeah, the T20 knockout was in Durban. T20 knockout, the first one was in Durban. Or was that in Potchefstroom? Oh, I flip, I'm all over the place. I can't remember. Um, but uh, and the reason I'm gonna tell you people why Riza got selected. Riza got selected because he's contracted. They've given him a contract already. So the you can't. I mean, I don't know what the rules are on picking. Knockout was in Bloom and Kimberly. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Werner, that's why we need you on the show because you need to yeah, you need to remind me about these things. I can't remember everything. But yeah, Riza, when you look at Riza is contracted player. I don't know what the rules are on selecting contracted players, etc. As well. Ashwani, you want to say something? No? Yes?
Yeah, I think South Africa's team is really well. I think, there is no such panic after such loss. I think they need to tweak little things in the next match. I think one thing they can change, they can bring Marco Jensen in place of Henrik Nokia. Simple is the reason because Henrik Nokia not look like 100% for me. uh, and I think plus he gives that batting option and left arm angle, and plus he's a tall bowler, and India has always has history against tall bowlers. You have the like of Glenn McGrath, Kyle Jamison. So India has trouble against tall bowlers. So that way I will bring Marco Johnson. Otherwise, as team is same. And for India, I think India has to continue that performance. Simple as that.
Mhm. Thank you, Ashwani. There's one more caller, Aditya. I'm just going to give a final caller. Please don't be as. How's it, Azan? Welcome to the show. What would you like to say? Go on, another troll. Okay, Aditya, go ahead.
Yeah, look, I think it's one loss, not all doom and gloom for South Africa. They just need to trust their players a bit more and, find ways to utilize their resources a little bit. So I think that's all I can say. Um, Good luck. Well, I hope that this is the game where the tide turns and you know India finishes off what it started to do. It may not be 4-1, but 3-2 sounds good too.
Mhm. I hope that South Africa win. I hope that we can wrap up the series. Really, I do. I hope I can see a better performance from Bavuma. I'm going to give him till the World Cup. If he's not showing any signs, I'm going to be start being more critical about it because I mean, sometimes you can only defend someone for so long. I'm hoping I will keep on hoping that he's going to prove me wrong. Um, I mean, prove me right. Sorry, and say that, and then he's going to play these classical shots. I said he needs to take that Hashim Amla type of role that Hashim Amla was for Aiden Markram. You can, I mean, for Quinn Cock, you can still have uh, a positive, proactive game without playing massive shots. And power play, you can knock the ball over the ring. It's going to be safe. There's only a limited amount of people that are allowed to be on the boundary. So you just need the timing to be spot on and clear the boundary. Now the way fielders are being placed, etc., etc. That's it's changed a lot. I mean, T20 cricket is very technical, so it's changed a lot. Chipper, do you want to say something before I say the final words?
Yeah, I just want to say if Temba Bavuma wins in India, guys, come on. Oh, winning an away series, guys, he's the one. Also, guys, Wayne Parnell is colored. He's colored. He's very much colored. And he's a
Yeah, I
player
know,
of color.
but he
He's
is very light
very much
skinned, yeah.
colored. But he's colored.
Because
Just
we know
listen to him
Janneman
speak and you're like,
since
Cape Town, 100%.
we know when Janneman came down to South Africa to Cape Town, sorry, from northwest, etc. There was a lot of tanning and a lot of beach going, I think, has happened because he's tanned a lot over the years. So maybe he can classify as a colored player, then he'll get straight into the team. No, I'm just kidding. But guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to smash that like button, comment, share, subscribe, and click that notification bell for all future videos. Don't forget to download the latest issue of Cricket Fanatics magazine monthly. Every issue is 100% free, straight to your inbox every single month. Link is on the screen as well as in the description. Also become a patron today. We are growing in patrons, guys. Please help us out there. Grow it, grow it. We want to get 20. I think we're on 12 now right now. So please go ahead and get the 8 more patrons, guys, and then we'll start doing content for you guys that will go directly to you. No one else will be able to see that content except our patrons. So please do that. Also, go to cricketfanaticsmag.com. Aditya's report is live. Go have a read. Go check what he had to say about this game. And you can find other features there too. You can find other content there on the website that you don't find on any other platform. So please go ahead and do that as well. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And we'll see you guys again tomorrow with another daily show. Perhaps you'll do a preview. I know that the next game will be, here's the fixtures. So we know that the next game will be on Friday. So there's quite a big gap between this game and the next game. So perhaps we will do I think it's a good idea to have 2 days between. And so we'll do the preview show tomorrow, and then we'll do something fun with you guys on Thursday before the game. So stay tuned to that. And we'll see you guys again tomorrow with another preview show. We'll talk tactics. We'll talk what we want to see, who should be selected. I do think that Quinton and Aiden will be back for that game. Hopefully, Aiden gets enough practice in the nets that will get him ready for the next game, and Quinton will be ready as well. But thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you guys again very soon. Peace, everybody.